Well, I waited 2 days to do my opening. I was hopeful last night. I don't believe, looking back on it, I was super disappointed with anybody, but I was hopeful. And considering the fantastic week we had, I did want to wait. Now, I will start. Had a double up today. This is 2. I had a double up in the afternoon. I just went to lunch with James and Jimmy Gillespie and Mark McKelvey and Griff and our kids. We all went to lunch. It was great. It's weird. For those of you in the States, you can't get any of the strawberry foam or the strawberry syrups or anything. They don't have them at Starbucks in the States, but they do here in Canada. It's tremendous. So what about the week? The week we had. Now, it didn't finish off. You're right. We need a little air. It didn't finish off the way we wanted it to. It is 7 trillion degrees here. What is the actual temperature? That's not correct. Not right. That's not even close. It feels like it's about 4,000 degrees here. And it's going to be a hot one all week, so we're trying to juggle what we are going to do, right, with the horses, with the babies. I get some horses to go to the meadows on Tuesday. We're trying to get some horses in to go, and that might sound like, oh, just enter them. So we had to train Aunt Lily a little harder on Saturday, because if we enter her on Tuesday to qualify, that's great. But if we also enter her Thursday, now I thought Scioto was going to write a maiden, 2-year-old trot and maiden. They didn't. So we're left with hopefully getting in the 2-year-old trot maiden that's written Thursday and a pop-up series Saturday at the Meadows. If that's the case, if she gets in Thursday, she won't qualify on Tuesday. Or Saturday's going to be a little trickier because they draw Tuesday at 9. So we're literally going to be...
You're also not here. You're going to be here.
No, I'm talking about the Meadows. I'm sorry.
On Saturday?
Aunt Lily, I'm not really that worried about. Aunt Lily's not tricky, right? Aunt Lily's just a really, really nice filly. I'm not super worried about it. It comes down to Aunt Lily or Ollie's baseball tournament. I am going to pick Ollie's baseball tournament. Aunt Lily, I trust Chris Lems and Ronnie Wren and those guys. They know what they're doing. And these are 2-year-olds. And this filly drives like a 4-year-old. You don't have to worry about Aunt Lily. So we're trying to figure out, and plus we have other pop-ups. Green Glitter might race on the Saturday. But what happened last year at the Meadows was they didn't fill the first pop-up.
Yeah.
So you're left, I'm making all these plans to miss my son's baseball tournament and be here, and then they go, we didn't have enough to fill the first pop-up. That is frustrating. So, this is the stress part of my life. It isn't necessarily just the workload. It's the potential workload that is a problem and the unknown, right? So, a great week this week. I was going to start with the racehorses because we do have some highlights. So I'm going to give you just the Coles notes quick, and then we'll go over them later on in the video. Really impressed. Obviously, the mile widespread panic was impressive the other day. It made a break, and I counted. They charted back 10 at the quarter. This isn't Trackus. This is somebody eyeballing it. You can easily count back 13 lengths minimum to where he was. A huge mile, but one that was wildly unnecessary. He was trying, I don't like saying the horses were trying to run, but he just felt like he was trying to get out of his work going to the gate, and I missed the gate by a country mile, but I would not let him run. I just kept him at the top speed I felt I could keep him at to trot, and then once he kind of slid into gear, then it was all fine, and then he was fine. Down the backstretch, I chased him, kicked the earplugs out, chased him in the last turn. He never offered to make a break, but what was going on at the start was upsetting. I couldn't see any lameness of any sort, but clearly he was bothered. So Tuesday we have 3 horses going to Dr. Brown's. 1, Rosetta, before she heads off to New Jersey. I want her looked at by Dr. Brown. 2 is Widespread Panic. And 3 is... who's 3? It's not Blue Ventura. Why can't I remember this? It'll come to me in a minute. One of our better horses anyway. I want to get him looked at. So what went on this week? Widespread Panic had a huge win. Collector... He looked very... Did you see his race?
I missed his race.
He looked awesome. He got away in behind one of the favorites, followed him, moved him 3 deep, getting into the last turn, and aired them. Looked amazing. Looked very, very good. Very happy with him. And then so happy to see Drebin. I forgot the dad owns like 1 or 2 shares of Drebin. Dad always liked Drebin ever since we got him. And of course, Dad, I think, liked him because of his name too. You don't like
Frank.
Frank
Drebin. The whole way home, we had to listen to it from Harrisburg.
Yeah, so Frank Drebin, you're right. So Drebin was great. And you know who had the mare that Drebin is out of? Joel Kravitz.
Oh, really?
Yep. So a bit of an insider there. 3-point blue chip raced great. I felt bad. I just felt like I overloaded Hunter with a million instructions, and
I was a little.
it didn't matter. He raced great. The horse raced great and looked great, and that's what you want to see him. You want to see him finishing hard on the end of the mile.
Passing.
What?
Passing.
Oh yeah, and looking to pass. He looked like the 3.0 blue chip of old. Is what he looked like. And then obviously I wasn't there to drive him because I was in Ohio. Irresistible Sun. I'm not sure that many people can say they were beat in 53-1 on the trot and the grassroots.
That was so that was the same as the other two divisions.
It was the same as Prince Charmer and Sweeney. All those divisions were the same division. Just caught a tough customer. And as I said to everybody, one, I knew he'd be better this week. I told you guys when we took the flip-flops off this horse, he would be much better this week, and he was. And two,
It's a cute dog.
it is a cute dog. And two, he has not hit his best stride at all. You're going to see much better things from him. I can't tell you he's going to win faster than 53, but he's going to have a much more well-rounded game over the summer. Still got some weight to put on. We have some weight to take off of him on as far as his shoeing is concerned. I just think there's a better horse in there, and he was tremendous the other night, so that's a scary thought right there. Now, also, the only winner of the day, Gypsy Hill. He looked good. He still has to get better. I thought he was a little soft in some of the places. I expected him to be a little stronger in. Notably, I hate when it flips up like that. The other one does it too. It drives me crazy. Yeah, that's a nice hat. My hat here.
Yeah.
What happened? What? It's Amy's hat. I stole it. I've commandeered it for the day. Everybody really raced good, but Gypsy Hill a little soft in the corners. And then we talked about Spitfire Overseas and what was going on with him. Just some foot shoeing issues that need to be addressed. And Stacy and Brett and I believe Eric Thomas are going to address that this week. So interested to see how he races his next start. I can almost assure you he is going to be much, much better in his next start than he was the other night. And that's simply because he had some bruising and some soreness in his feet, I believe. And Stacy and both Stacy and Brett had told me they'd worked on it all week, but you just can't fix it in a couple of days. It's impossible. So he'll be better. And then I thought Memory and Imagination raced absolutely fantastic yesterday, as did JK Victory. Everybody else just kind of feeling around in the dark as far as Blanton's Blue and Really Don't Care at Yonkers. I don't know. I think that's a conversation to have with Mark and Megan and myself just to see what we're going to do with these two horses. I know everybody wants to believe that they're going to be these Excelsior horses, and I told my partners on both these horses, they're not stone cold killers in the Excelsior. They're certainly not stake horses, but they are useful horses, both of them. So where does that lead them? Where does that lead them? I suspect Blanton's Blue will go Buffalo in 10 days and then back to Goshen after that. But after those races, then again, reevaluate and decide what we're going to do. And as far as Really Don't Care, similar along the same lines with them. Now the 2-year-olds this week, because you've gone with a bunch of the 2-year-olds also. I know that you went with Memento Mori a lot of times, and
I honestly, I don't want to make projections, but I wouldn't be surprised if you take the hobbles off him when he gets to Lexington.
He will. We'll take the hobbles and everything off him when he gets to Lexington.
And I think that will help his interference too.
It will. You're right in both counts. I think you're 100% correct. And I'd said the same thing to Scotty. There is a little bit of a buzz. People have been hearing about the Chapter 7 colt and how he qualified at the Meadows. And I can tell you the hype is real for him. He's a good colt. From the guy who sat behind him the other day, this is an ear hood and a mini bit. I wasn't a stake court, I was wrong. It was a mini bit and an ear hood on him, but perfect. A real gentleman. Took him off the gate, sat forth in a very slow pace for a horse that already qualified well in the mud. That's not an easy thing to do because they're excited, right? They want to get at it and get working. And when I cut him loose down the backstretch, he never let up. Never let up, and even an inch through the wire, into the turn after. The horse was fantastic. And I'm going to go through a lot of the horses because it was a tremendous day for us at the Meadows. Really, really happy. Memento Mori kicked it off, obviously, in the second qualifier, an 11-length winner in 2 minutes. Last half in 55-4. You don't often see that from 2-year-olds, and he's just a little freak, to be honest. He's a very, very good horse. I knew I'd come to it. Country Dancing is the other horse going to Dr. Brown's on Tuesday. She was great. Won her qualifier by 7 lengths, 28-2 in the end of it. Last half, 56-3. But Still hit in the turns. I could feel her, just a little wrinkle in her, here and there. She's so much bigger now. Like she was big.
I haven't seen her.
She was big when she left Northfield? No. Nothing like now. She is gigantic now. It's really hard to believe that she has turned into such a big horse, but uses her speed so well. I didn't really, like, we were up there 32-3. Last 3 quarters, 128 flat. I didn't really want to be on the front, but it was one of those things where no one wanted to be on the front. Right? Everybody kind of left and looked around and looked around. I'm like, all right, never mind. It's a combination,
too, of, like, our horses are coming in on their second time.
But she wasn't.
And
that was her first qualifier.
Oh, I was just saying, it just felt like a lot of the qualifiers were, like, kind of like Mohawk.
They are. They were. A lot of them were their first qualifiers. You're right. But, you know, in this particular qualifier, nobody wanted to cut it. Like, I tried to get her in a hole, and even the guy who made front, who was it? Yeah, it was Sean Johnson. He didn't want to sit on the front, and I did want to go a mile in 2 minutes with her, and I can't get up the quarter in 34, half and 5, and go a mile in 2 minutes. It's impossible. So I put her on the front. She did everything great. A+ across the board. I just felt that there was a little wrinkle in her gait that could be helped quite a bit. So I think Dr. Brown will have a real good look at her. Next was Green Glitter. You know how I feel about Green Glitter. She was the teacher's pet all winter long. But I could never answer how good she was. And although 2-3 doesn't answer it, 28-1 on the end of it, first over, certainly does. She looked rather good. Half in 105 a mile in 2-3 and 3 last quarter, 28-1. She was all business. Really eager to see her. And we got the flip-flops off her. I actually put 2 sets of bell boots on her because she was a little shuffly going out of there. And I said to Tim, you know, just hold on. I want this day to stay good. Just throw another set of bell boots on Green Glitter just to make sure. And we had 2 sets on her, and she was fantastic. For those of you who may not know what that means, it's just a little added weight on the entire foot. So trotters, generally speaking, if you want a trotter to trot, you're going to put weight on them, right? Take the weight off behind, put the weight on up front. That's why you hear us talk about having vet wrap on a lot of them behind. The ones that are just going to touch the point of their ankle, where most trotters hit right here, that lower part, we just put a piece of a quarter boot. So what I like to do is just trim it up, put a piece of a quarter boot over that corner of that ankle and vet wrap it, and that's what Green Glitter actually wears. So when I warmed her up, she was a little pacey at places, and I just didn't want to get her in a spot where maybe you got to double her up quick, or maybe she sees something and she just gets a little pacey. I didn't want to do that, so we just put 2 sets of bell boots on her up front, and she was absolutely fantastic. I was really, really impressed with her. A little grabby. She's getting a mini bit on, and I told Jason, I told everybody this, like, no, she hasn't worn snake cord, I don't think. I said it's impossible for a horse that I went with all winter that was grabby to not have a snake cord on. It's impossible. But I don't think she was bad. She was behaved, just a little excitable. So we're going to put a mini bit on her, but she was awesome too. Ron Burke's horse actually in there, Brink Street, a 2-year-old, must be a filly, a 2-year-old filly trotter. Looked very good. 27-4 on the end of it. Mile in 2-3 and 3. Who are our filly trotters for Ohio? Oh, Aunt Lily. Yeah.
It's in Ohio?
Yeah, it's a long time. And then next was Westland Warrior. Really understated how good. You never went with him, did you?
Yeah, I remember I used to get frustrated because he.
He doesn't trot squarely. When you sit behind Westland Warrior, he carries his butt over to the right a little bit. Dog trots, right? Because he's figured out how to miss interfering, but you can't trot fast and be a little crooked. So as we got the flip-flops off him, I was really watching him last week when we went our slow mile before he went to the meadows. I wanted to go with him, and I put him in gear in the last turn. I want to see exactly what he would do coming out of that last turn. And I just put the whip over his tail as we come out, and he just went to switch sideways where he used to bolt in because he would hit himself. He didn't do that. He kind of sashayed in a little bit, straightened up, and trotted straight all the way down the lane. That was a big mile for this horse.
Did you wear a gating pole on him?
Yeah, on the inside. We did have a gating pole. He wore a head pole and Murphy blind on the left, line pole on the outside. No boots up front, not even bell boots.
Oh, wow.
And just vet wrap behind, I think. And he was awesome. Awesome. For him, again, remember, this is a horse that only trotted in 2.5 or 2.6 in the mud on Jason Merriman in the open house day, because he had those flip-flops on in the soup. So he never had that scorching hard mile. Never saw a half in 28 seconds. But for him to open up by 8 lengths and come 29-1, a last half in 58-1, was a very, very good mile for him. And he was underscored because obviously he's gone to Kentucky now. He has to race against Memento Mori at some point. Hopefully they both get in the final. That would be great. But until then, if there's 2 divisions, which I hope there is, those guys would obviously miss each other. I think they'll both be extremely effective in Oak Grove, and they're both in Kentucky right now. Our next horse was Arrowhead Hanover, and Amy and I have had an affinity towards this horse for quite a while. And I told you guys I was really going to drill into him the month of May, because I just felt mentally he wasn't paying attention, he wasn't doing his work, and he wasn't understanding his work as much as I thought he should or wanted him to. So I was kind of hard on him workload-wise for the entire month of May, and I know he frustrated you a little bit sometimes training Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And he tried doing it. He tried doing it, ducking in, coming out of the last turn. If you watch his qualifier, go back and watch his qualifier again. The earplugs weren't out. I was just going to let him ride down the lane. We came out of the last turn, he bolted left. I was mad. I hit him a swat in the mutt, and I kicked the earplugs out, and I roared at him. He took off again down the lane. But just stupid stuff like that is what he's been up to his whole life. And that's just immaturity, right? That's just him being a juvenile. But the work we put into him paid off, because, like, did you watch his qualifier from the start?
Yeah.
Just crossed right over, boom, like that, out of the 7-hole. I love horses that are super effective off the gate. You can literally drive him like a pacer. Crossed over, stopped him. We went 31-1, 102-4, and then I let him rattle along a little bit. 29-1 down the back stretch, and 28-3 on the end of it. So if you're doing the math really, really quick, you're looking at a half in 57-4. This is last half by himself, last quarter in 28-3. He was very, very good. Now, Rosetta. You went with Rosetta a lot.
Yeah.
She would make mistakes in stupid places and do silly things sometimes, but I think she was touching a little bit. When I warmed her up, she felt good, but still a little left hind, maybe.
You put boots on her, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. We switched
Oh, yeah, we've always had boots on her for a while,
we
yeah.
had her on the other ones for a bit, and then we switched her back.
Yeah, I think she had boots and bet wrap on, actually, if I'm not mistaken. When I warmed her up, she was good. But then when I went to race her, I was really tentative with her, really quiet with her. She was really hot in the warm-up, actually. Grabby.
Well, she used to be when you had that jawbreaker on her, but then she was better.
No, she was pretty grabby the other day. So I wanted her to settle, and I was mad, too, because we went out and there was no earplugs or anything in her ear. And I told everybody, no ear hoods for anybody that's qualifying today, but I do want earplugs. Well, they got half of it right. We went out the track, no ear hood or anything on her. She was a little grabby, but once I got her seesawed back into the 4-hole, she was quiet. You know, we were over the half. Yeah, we were over the half in 104-1. She won the qualifier in 201-4. So, pretty good last half, 57 and a piece for her. Last quarter in 28-2, but attacked well. I talked to Tim, I talked to Megan. I want to talk to Scott and see. He told me Linda Toscano has a really nice Walnut filly also, I believe. And I don't want to put Scott in a position where, and that's why we couldn't send Pickpocket to Megan until he was out of the series down there, because it may jeopardize Scott's drives, right? And I certainly don't want to do that. So, will Tim take Rosetta to the Meadows, or Meadowlands from the Meadows? I'm not sure yet. First thing she's doing is going to the clinic at Dr. Brown's, and then after that, we'll decide what's going to happen with Rosetta. But she will be going. I can't imagine there's anything that will take place between now and the New Jersey Sires that would negate her from going to New Jersey. So whether that's to Megan or whether Tim takes her down, that will remain to be seen. But a very, very good qualifier from her. I was really impressed with her. Blue Ventura, you haven't gone with him very much,
I went with him one time and he tied up.
I remember that. He did. So we had the flip-flops off of him the other day, and I was just trying to float him into the 4-hole, and Hunter's horse was acting up in behind me, and I couldn't get him in. And I kept sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. I'm like, holy Jesus, I'm not going to get in. And then finally, I'm like, I'm not taking him back last. And I let him scoot onto the front, because I think we're at the quarter in 30-1. We're at the quarter in 30-1. I'm thinking I want to go mile 59 with him anyway. So I let him scoot along. I drop him into the 2-hole. Half flashes up 59-1. I'm like, 57-4, 58. He'd be fine. And this Lou Hobber, this is a good horse. I think this is the good Lou's Perlman brother, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But I thought I heard Chris Page and Ronnie talking after, and he said that this was brother to, Lakeisha Hall. I think this is Lou Perlman's brother, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, he had an ear hood on, and he was a little rank. He let him dance along a little bit down the backstretch, 27-3, so 28-3 down the backstretch. And but the one thing, he was paralyzed on the left line, but he did mark up his right shin. He'd hit it a couple of times. And I think he was just laying on it, but he didn't seem sore to me anywhere. Tim said he's been sound since he went, so there's no real rush. And I said, there's no hurry with him. That's a huge mile. 56-3. And he was coming to that horse again at the wire when we went under the wire. 28-4, but like, it was a heck of a mile for that horse. He's a nice colt, and he's going to be a very nice colt this winter. Again, him and Arrowhead are in the same place, right? They're both just PA. Paid into all the PA stuff, but they're just PA. But it should be a lot of fun with Blue Ventura for sure. And then we went with Gymboree. Now, Gymboree, I told everybody, and you know better than anybody, she was a little bit behind everybody, right? She had missed a good 2 weeks of hard work because she was sick.
More than that.
Yeah, so she was a little bit, you can't make that up, right? Sure, if she was just ultra talented, she'd come out and she might trick you into thinking she was exactly where everybody else was. But when I get away...
She's still in 2 minutes.
Yeah, when I get away fourth, and they go in 2 minutes and a fifth off a half and 1, 1, and 3, it's tough to make up any ground. So I'm at the half literally in almost 103. We're there in 102 and 4. She trots her last half in 58 flat, last quarter in 28 and 3, and she's coming to them at the wire. Well, put it this way: from the head of the lane to the wire, she went from 6 lengths back at the head of the lane to beat 3.5. So she made up 2.5 lengths on the leaders from the top of the stretch to the wire. She was very, very good, very nice filly, and she is now in Kentucky with Memento Mori, with Westland Warrior, and with another horse we're going to talk about in a minute. And it said, Eric, take the flip-flops off, or we'll put the 5/8. We went to 5/8 first.
It's so annoying because she literally got shot.
I don't care about that. I just don't want them wearing flip-flops on a deep track. And he said the track can get pretty deep in Kentucky with all the heat coming this week. I think that track's...
They didn't train her like with the, with the shooting change?
Oh yeah, she's gonna have to train hard
on
Wednesday, where the other horses don't really need to train hard, but she does need to train hard. So Gymboree was good. Fifth beat 3.5, 28-3 on the end of it, a mile in 2 minutes and 4/5. A great mile. Manhattan Money, and you've gone with him too sometimes. He's actually a nice horse. Another horse of flip-flops. I've been waiting to take them off him, but we have not yet. We may not until after his first start. Only because he's a big, big, big horse. So I just touched the gate one. It was my fault. It wasn't the horse's fault. If you watch the qualifier, he did everything perfect. Moved hard down the backstretch. I actually zipped him in between and down to the inside in the last turn. And then he got down in the passing lane and was trotting as hard as he could through the wire. Passed 2 horses down the lane to be third, but looked very, very good in doing it. Really, really impressed. Really, really impressed with the way this horse went about his work, did his work, and then finished off his work. And that break at the gate was not his fault. And he had a flat line at Northfield, so he can race next week. It's not a big deal for him. Really happy with him. And then Grand Slam Dio, Amy and I were talking about it. The only bad takeaway from Grand Slam Dio's qualifier is she's full of allergy mucus. So this is going to be an issue. Could be an issue for the summer for the allergies. So Amy had a FlexiNeb nebulizer that we didn't use that much. She used on Tiger, right?
Yeah.
Used on Tiger all the time. We don't use it that much, so we're going to send that to Kentucky for the babies, and more particularly for Pickpocket, the 3-year-old who's coming off Lasix, going to no Lasix, and also Grand Slam Deal. Grand Slam Deal for sure, as she definitely needs it. So Manhattan Money was good, but Grand Slam Deal I left out of there. Did you watch her qualifier?
Yeah,
just crossed her into the 2-hole, no problem. She was all business. I moved her over halfway around the last turn. She drew off on them. 2:02, last quarter, 28-4. Her own last half, it was only a minute, but they walked the third quarter in 31. So 28-4 in the end of it, last half in a minute. But if you would have seen the scope that I saw, I asked, the vet said, the Dio horse, full. I said, of? He said, mucus. He said, full enough, I want to pull an SAA.
Did they scope all of them?
Yeah.
Oh.
They scoped all of them. And they want to do an SAA test. She was so full of mucus, they want to do an SAA test. And the reason that is important is, last thing you want to do is put her on a hot trailer and ship her all the way to Kentucky if she's full of sickness. So if they'd have pulled that SAA test, that serum amyloid A test, and it was high, you couldn't ship her to Kentucky. She couldn't go there that day. Or you can't ship sick horses. It's unfortunate that she had a race, but you can't ship them. The serum amyloid A test come back 1, which is nothing. So it was all allergy stuff. In my mind, I'm kind of thinking to myself, I wish it was sickness. Because allergies are pesky. So have to get her cleaned up and keep her cleaned up. It's not ideal in any way. So I'm going to have to, again, Kathy and Eric got a tall order in front of them, 1 for pickpocket and 2 for Grand Slam deal. But an absolutely tremendous day. We had 10 starters. Not that the wins matter, but the fact that they were so competitive. You know, we had 10 starters. Blue Ventura's second, beat ahead, or half a length. Gymboree was 5th, beat 3.5, closing in. Manhattan Money was 3rd, beat 3/4 of a length after spotting them a billion lengths, and everybody else won. Everybody else did. So a tremendous day. Now you take those 10, right? You factor in Chicago Hall, right? Gaslight Hall, Resolve Indeed, Princess Dream, Century Legion. There's 15 very talented horses. Now we even talked about Ohio. You look at the other Ohio horses. We can just pull those up real quick. I graded everybody. I actually did a video yesterday. I did, and I graded everybody because I wanted to talk about them. Both the Rose Run horses. I know that Alexander's going to be a little late to the party, but make no mistake, there's no loss of talent there. Rose Run Alexander, Rose Run AJ, gorgeous package, Foxy Seaside. Now we're at 19, by the way. Aunt Lily, 20. Freedom Hill. I trained Freedom Hill in 2 minutes and 3/5 last half and 57.4 by herself yesterday at Northfield Park. She was amazing. So now we're at 21, right? What colts do we have? I Don't Play Nice and Cadeau. There's my biggest horse to watch at the qualifiers at the Meadows. I put the belly band hobbles on him, which I don't like to use, but I did, and added a Murphy blind. I won a quarter and 28 apiece with him the other day, and by the time I got him pulled up in front of the stands, we were still at the half and 104, and he was awesome. I'm super eager to go with this horse on Tuesday. So now we're 22. We talked about Lily, Freedom Hill. What about Oh Hill No? Trained great, 2.5. So did nah, he trained okay. He's coming. He's getting there. He's a big softy though. The other Hill filly that's miserable, the rotten one there that kicked me.
Oh, High Hopes.
High Hopes. She can be a miserable cow, but I'll tell you what, she can go. She's going to be very surprising. Another horse I'm taking to the qualifiers at the Meadows, and I'm going to be very, very, very eager to go with her. So we're upwards of 25 horses. Almost half the horses we purchased last year appear to be quality stake material animals. We hope. Well, we hope, yeah, but they do. The ones that I mentioned, they already look like they're on their way. I don't think they're going to put them in stake race saying, I guess they're just no good. And we're not talking about the projected horses. We haven't talked about Captain Incredible, right? We haven't talked about Melisandre. I mean, you're getting upwards of 30 horses now. A Trant? Yeah, we're upwards of 30 horses now, and that's an incredible lineup. Those are horses that I would project are stake horses. Yeah. Right? We've been very fortunate to date, and you know, I don't need to sit here and pat myself in the back, or you don't. We don't need to. The horses are going to do the talking for us. But when I look at what has been accomplished and how it has been accomplished, it's impressive. It's impressive to look at. Every year we look and say, we got some that are okay. But when you buy 50 horses and upwards of 30 of them look like they're state caliber at the start of the summer, and I'm just not going to mention the hopefuls. We're not going to talk about. Bar got hurt, right? Anyway, it's an impressive lot, top to bottom. Very, very impressed with what I've seen so far, and super eager. I haven't even talked about Fire and Shine, who trained like a beast on Saturday. I haven't talked about the Sox horse, who I've never been a super fan of.
I can't believe you put him in to go.
He trained like a killer the other day. Okay. Now, I don't know. They're in together. There's 2 of them in together. Fire and Shine. I picked Fire and Shine from the rail just because she's a little trickier than Sox. I asked Jason Merriman to drive Sox because he knows him, and I hope he does. But Sox has got the 4-hole. Fire and Shine's got the rail. They're our first 2-year-olds. But that's not right. They're not our first 2-year-olds.
When is that? Wednesday?
You know who's the first 2-year-old race? You'll never guess. I'll give you a second to think about it.
What day?
The first 2-year-old will race Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, so it'll be at the Meadows.
Nope.
Wednesday afternoon?
I believe so, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. If my calculations are right, and I could be wrong with the date, the problem is on the staking program, the date's not there, but I believe both Sunset Acres Girl and Mountaineer Prince race on Wednesday afternoon, if I'm not mistaken.
Did they go?
They left Saturday. Lauren took them. I trained them both Saturday morning. They were very good. Mountaineer Prince, I said to Lauren, jokingly leaving the barn, I said, tell your dad, just put a set of earplugs on Mountaineer Prince. You should have to pull them around 20-25. He trained great. Trained very good the other day. And Sunset Acres Girl trained much better. Did a little bit of vet work on her. Actually let her hobbles out and put a V martingale on her. She was throwing her head. Put a V martingale on her. She got her head down. She was behaved and trained very, very good the other day. Now, she's a big girl. Way bigger than last year. Is she going to get around those little bull rings? I hope so. Trots the turns good. But I hope she does because, I'd love to see Donnie just crush there all summer. And Lauren's got her own colt there, too. She said there's an A and B division. She's going to put him in the B division. So I hope Lauren. Drive them? I hope she does. Her or Donnie, I don't know, but I told her, I said, she should go drive them. I hope she does. But very, very happy with what I've seen so far. And we still have the Illinois horses coming up. They both train very good. I watched them train What a Lady, What a Night in 13. Just a set of brace bandages on behind. Trained her in 213 on Saturday in the race bike.
She's a warm little bugger.
She looks good. Oh, she wasn't warm the other day. She was great, Joey.
Wasn't grabby?
Yeah, she was perfect.
She's put a lot of weight on her.
She has so.
Yeah.
So very, very happy with what I've seen through this week. We look at we just talked about the horses that raced. I mean, and the horses that are coming. I can't wait. I just told Amy, I will train Chicago Hall on Wednesday morning. Now, here's how my week is going to go. I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to go back to Northfield.
You're going to come to the barn first.
I'm going to the barn first. There's no rush to get to Northfield. I'm in the 14th race with Born to Dance.
But you're taking Ava with you. So.
Ava and I are going to go on tour, some kind of tour this week. Monday night, Northfield Park. Tuesday morning, the Meadows. Tuesday evening, I got to come back for Born to Dance, or for Brace for Landing here at Mohawk.
Oh, so she doesn't have to go with you till Tuesday.
She has to. If she doesn't want to, she's welcome to stay. But she doesn't have to go anywhere until
Wednesday morning.
Okay. So
So
Wednesday morning, I'm going to get up around 6:30. I'm going to make my way over to the training center, and I'm going to train Chicago Hall for Saturday's qualifier. And James told me to. I couldn't tell looking at the video. He said the track was horrible. The water truck was broken.
I heard about that.
They dumped water all over the track, and I guess the track was terrible for Century Legion and Chicago Hall.
No, Centuries he was in the first, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I thought he said the first 5. Oh, maybe he was wrong. But he said the third race was terrible. So I want to go Chicago Hall Wednesday morning, and I'm going to tighten them up a little bit for Saturday. I expect a very good qualifier from Chicago Hall Saturday morning at Mohawk.
Sans ear hood.
Sans ear hood. I'm going to go, maybe I'll go with another one, Resolve Indeed, maybe, just to see how she feels also. And then I'm going to get in the car, drive all the way to the Meadows. I'm going to race Ready for Landing. I'm eager to do that. I love Ready for Landing. First start on Lazex. Got the outside, though. And then Wednesday night, is a big night. We have a ton of horses in Wednesday night. Is it up here yet? No, it's not up here yet. All those babies. The babies are in. Victory Blue Chip. Oh, I'm happy to tell everybody, Great Bet will be plenty tight for Wednesday night. I trained him on the gallop. He trained very, very strong and looked in shape. I can tell you, poor Dominic, I was so happy he won with driving the other night. He's got the horses looking great, and they are in shape.
Yeah, he wasn't even blowing.
No, I galloped him hard on a hot day, and he couldn't blow a match out when he came in. And when he hit the pace, after I was done galloping him, he put his ears up and paced all the way down the stretch. He looked great. I was very happy with what I saw from Great Bet. Very interesting looking spot for him over the next little while. Quite a bit different than J-Port. He struggled, and this is a much better horse than J-Port Beach Boy, and I think that Great Bet will find a good spot in the classes he's about to race in at Northfield Park. Very happy with him. Victory Blue Chip raced good the other day, and he's in the condition claimer at Northfield. He should do good also. I'm eager, very, very eager about our races on Wednesday night. I think we're going to have a huge night from our barn Wednesday at Northfield Park. It should be a lot of fun. So Monday, Northfield. Tuesday, the Meadows. Tuesday night, Mohawk. Wednesday morning, train Chicago, potentially Resolve Indeed. Wednesday afternoon, drive all the way to the Meadows, race Ready for Landing, get in the car, go back to Northfield Park, race 6 horses Wednesday night. Thursday, have to go to the Meadows, drop Ava off at dance, go to the Meadows, come back up, pick Ava up, and go to Scioto Downs, where we're inevitably going to have Gypsy Hill, Irresistible Sun, Indigo also. After that, now we have a potential to race some of the babies in a number of places, but I'm hopeful that we don't, because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I want to be right here, starting from this driveway, to go watch Ollie play in his baseball tournament Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday I have to be in Kentucky, Monday and Tuesday. So it's busy. It's a busy time of year. We know this. You know what? Here's the fact. If we didn't have good horses, we wouldn't have to worry about it. We got some killers right now, I believe, and I'm super, super hopeful that they all show up. Now, I can't tell, what Aki's horses look like, or Ron Burke's, or anybody else's. All I can tell you is that the vast majority of our horses that I've trained and qualified and schooled and went with are absolutely as good as they can possibly be right now. And that is a great feeling. So with that, a very optimistic outlook on our summer ahead. I can't wait to get to the races this week, particularly Wednesday. I'm eager to race Brace. Brace is a pain in the butt to come back and drive him, but I'm eager to race him on Tuesday. Eager for the babies on Wednesday night. Ready for landing Wednesday afternoon. Thursday should be a lot of fun. I know it's a lot of driving Meadows and then to Scioto, but most importantly, Ollie's tournament next weekend, and then right after that tournament is Kentucky. So a big week ahead. Have you figured out what you're doing yet? Sherry Shingles? Amy's
Don't
coming.
touch my head.
Amy's coming along good. Now tell everybody. Feeling better, are you?
Yeah, I'm coming around now.
Yeah. An awful thing. The doctor here said that you didn't have measles. She thought you might have shingles. So they're stress related. So I don't know where you would have got that from.
Oh my God.
I don't know where you would have got that from. But
don't recommend.
I'm glad everything's okay, and I'm glad everything's coming along, and it should be a lot of fun the rest of the summer. Hey, everybody just wants to get those shingles over with to start the summer, and then have a beautiful summer.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out with Ava what day Ava's coming on tour with me, and then what I'm doing from the rest of the week. But I think I have it mapped, a soft map out of what is going on for the rest of the week. So good luck to everybody tonight, tomorrow, the rest of the week. Really excited about the 2-year-olds Wednesday. I might be wrong about Mountaineer Prince, because why would they race on a Wednesday? But if I'm not wrong, it's Wednesday for Mountaineer Prince and Sunset Acres Girl, which could be... Now, if I'm wrong, and you don't have to send me an email. I'm sure Lauren will tell me, hey, you're wrong. It's actually Saturday. I have no idea. It should be a Saturday. I don't know why it would be a Wednesday, but in my mind, it was the 19th of June, which makes it Wednesday afternoon. And if that's the case, if you're anywhere near that fair, go out and watch Mountaineer Prince and Sunset Acres Girl go. I am eager to see how they do this summer, more particularly this week. And I hope, like you said, I hope Lauren does stay and go with them. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But to date, I'd be remiss if I didn't say a great job by our staff and our clients and everybody, Danny and Dominic and Johnny over here in Ohio, everybody that takes care of those horses. I know I've been riding them pretty hard the last 3 weeks, but they have to understand that there's a lot of stress that come with these horses. We've done our job. We've put the starting lineup together, and now they're all coming up to bat. It's up to everybody to make sure that everything is ready to go, and they've done a great job, top to bottom. Tim,
and 3 of them are brand new.
Yeah, 3 of them are brand new. Tim, Eric, all our staff, everybody's ready to rock here for the summer, and I can't wait to get it going. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. To the dads out there, happy Father's Day. I'm one of them. To the moms, better be nice to us for the rest of the day. And to everybody else, have a wonderful week at the track. Take care.